Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootleggers, shills, desolate serfs, peasants, vassals, Washingtonians. I'm a useful idiot, and today I want to give my hats off to my home state, Washington State, and the city of Seattle, my hometown, because they've been batting 100 lately, and they've been getting things right, and it's actually rather shocking, because the western half of the state in Seattle is liberal city. Everybody's liberals out here. And then you got the kind of the old school conservatives out in eastern Washington. So there's a mountain range that divides Washington State, and all the conservatives and the farming communities on the eastern part of the state. Then the most populous part of the state, in the western part, here in the Puget Sound, is all liberals. Wow. So I hope you feel for me. But anyway, Washington State has been doing some legislation lately, and let's kind of look at where they've been at and why they lead the nation. First of all, they introduced legislation that punishes TSA for infractions of the law here in Washington State. So, as far as I know, the only state to move against the TSA. Then we have the gay marriage law here in the state now. So now gays can get married and suffer just like all the rest of us, and so that's a good thing. And now they have a new legislation to block the indefinite detention in the National Defense Authorization Act. Yeah, that's right. Washington State wants to block the indefinite detention and nullify that. And of course, anyone that would try to enforce that law in Washington State would be arrested. And now we also have City of Seattle giving up their police drone program. So how about that? So in a very short amount of time, we got gay marriage, we got a fight against the TSA, we got a fight against the NDAA, we got stopping the drone program, and of course the kicker, pot's legalized. And let me explain to the rest of the country that yes, pot is legalized here in Washington State. As far as I can tell, I haven't really noticed anything change. Civilization hasn't collapsed. And pot is not on the rampage amongst our youth. And frankly, it's about the same availability as it was before. So there you have it. But that's great stuff, though, huh? Washington State leading the nation. And we have some other good things here in Washington State and Seattle too. We have no state income tax, but of course we pay for that because we have the highest gas tax in the nation, the highest cigarette taxes in the nation, and a near 10% sales tax, but no state income tax. So that's good. And gun rights are pretty strong here in Washington. I'm glad to say. Of course, most of the liberals here in Washington and Seattle don't really have that many guns, but the conservatives here make up for that by having a lot of guns. So in essence, every man, woman, and child in Washington State is armed pretty well because conservatives are all doing their part. And then we also know that Seattle, Washington is the most well-read city in the country. And I haven't seen noticeably that's made anybody smarter, but people read here more than anywhere else, so that's something. Then, of course, we have total world-class, kick-ass beer, coffee, and wine in Washington State. And I'm happy to be here to get some of the most kick-ass beer, coffee, and wine available in the nation, and I can get it locally. And that goes for pot, too, by the way. And then I love the weather. So, they've been telling all you people all over the country that it rains here all the time, and it's always dark and gray. And, well, it is a pretty fair amount of the time, but they just tell you that because they don't want anybody else moving here. We got enough foreigners here as it is. Half of California, I think, moved up here, and we got an area now we call Little California because Washington State never really had palm trees before. But thanks to Californians, we have those here now. And so then we have rain, and I like the rain. But guess what? And I'm talking to the rest of the United States. We don't have punishing blizzard snowstorms that pack up to 2, 3, 4 feet of snow. We don't have hurricanes. We don't have typhoons. We don't have tornadoes. We hardly ever have earthquakes. Just pretty calm out here. I could probably safely say that it's about 50 degrees every day and 40 degrees every night, every day of the year. And that's pretty much how it averages out. So it's pretty nice. Then we also have the Hanford Nuclear Reservation out in eastern Washington, but that's out in eastern Washington with all those hillbilly conservative farmers, so who cares, right? And we just got extorted for our third stadium, so we have 3 brand new stadiums in Seattle in the last 10 years, and we got extorted into all of them, and we'll never pay them off, and but the rich will enjoy all the new luxury boxes, and that's what's important. And then our big mega corporations are Boeing and Microsoft. And Boeing builds airplanes, but are also one of the biggest contributors to the military-industrial complex. So I'm glad to have them right here. Their local headquarters moved to Chicago a couple years back because they wanted to start moving out of town. They figured they wanted to get the bosses out first so that they aren't subject to pitchforks and torches when Washington State finds out that Boeing wants to bail on this state after 100 years. Because they just weren't getting enough tax breaks. I kind of figure zero taxes is a pretty good deal. And Microsoft, the same thing. They get all the breaks. They get all the tax breaks, all the construction projects done for them. So those are our big cash cows out here. And, oh yeah, we have the Washington State Lottery. I remember back in time when we didn't have a Washington State Lottery. We did fine. And they said, boy, you know, we get the Washington State Lottery, all our fiscal problems will be solved. Well, you know, of course, they've got that money spent 20 years in the future. Kind of like the tobacco settlement. And so that money's already gone, so that didn't really help anybody. And then we got real asshole cops out here. And they used to be pretty good guys, but, you know, just like everywhere else, they used to be pretty good guys, and now they think there's a war on between them and the citizens of the U.S., and they're all loaded up on steroids. And, of course, around here they're loaded up on premium Starbucks coffee. Thank you, Starbucks, for another mega corporation that spans the globe with their wonderful, wonderful product, which I never buy and have never bought. And then politically, of course, we've sent a lot of our milquetoast politicians to Washington to serve in the Obama administration, Gary Locke being a notable example. He is now our ambassador to China, our trade rep with China, and he hasn't got a clue, so he's perfect. And, of course, Kurlikowski, our police chief, is out there now working in counterterrorism and whatnot. He knows all about it because he was here for WTO, and that's a big deal. The WTO riots here in Seattle could conceivably considered ground zero for the backlash against global banker occupation. So very proud of that, a very notable event in my life. And then we have two of the worst milquetoast senators in the nation, Patty Murray and Maria Cantwell. And they'll never get voted out because all the liberals and all the women in Seattle will continue to vote for them as long as they're alive. So you're stuck with them, I'm stuck with them, and not too happy about it. But at least they're better than Gary Reichert, right? So anyway, here we go, folks. Washington State, my home state, Seattle, Washington, my hometown. They're getting it right. And I'm expecting to wake up at any moment and think this is all a dream, or have the feds come in and crush all our state laws. So those are the two scenarios I'm looking at now. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.